My name is Scott McGee. I'm with TCM's On Air Promotions, and I'd like to welcome you to the third day of the TCM Classic Film Festival and our second 70mm film this weekend. Tomorrow we'll have Cleopatra. Before we get started, I'd just like to make a few announcements, some of which you've already heard before, so you could probably have already memorized these. But first I'd like to thank our sponsors who are generously supporting this festival. This has been a massive undertaking, and we couldn't have done it without them. We want to especially thank our official automotive sponsor, Buick. Second, please silence your cell phones. Someone's phone did go off during 2001 last night, and we dealt with them. No, not really, but please do turn off your cell phones. We don't want you to be distracted. And please do not text or use cameras during the program. Seeing these films, especially in 70mm, is extremely rare, and we do not want you, our most special guest, to be distracted, meaning you. Also, just a reminder for festival pass holders, we will have a program at Club TCM tonight at 9 p.m. We have a special guest, an LA-based swing and jazz quartet, Mike Early and the Nightcaps, who will be performing a program of standards and some of their own songs as well. And there'll be a snack and a cash bar for attendees. We are extremely pleased that you can join us for this 70mm presentation of Jacques Tati's Playtime, courtesy of Janus Films and the Academy Film Archive. One quick note, about 20 minutes of this film were digitally restored by Chris Reyna's company, Magica USA. Chris Reyna is the man behind the curtain, literally, of the projection team. So he has a personal stake in this film, and about 20 minutes of this film have been cleaned up and spiffed up by him personally. So we want to thank him for that. And he also wanted me to note that this 70mm film is being shown in the correct aspect ratio as Jacques Tati intended, 1:8:5, which is also extremely rare. Now, 70mm, is obviously a huge format, and Jacques Tati envisioned this film as being huge. He envisioned it on a grand scale. The idea of Monsieur Hulot stumbling around modern Paris, trying to keep some sort of appointment, Tati needed a large set. He did not need a location like he did in Monsieur Hulot's Holiday. He needed a set built to order. And when you consider Playtime, I don't know if you can think of another movie that has had such a humongous set built exclusively for it. I mean, we're talking about a fully functioning city, streets with traffic, street lights, electricity grid, sidewalks paved. You have signs, storefronts, curbs. I mean, the only thing that's not really real were skyscrapers, and even those were humongous flats that were built in relief to give you the illusion that they were actually skyscrapers. Early in the film, when Monsieur Hulot arrives in an airport, you'll see the giant fin of an airplane pass by in the distance. That was just a gigantic piece of plywood that was built on wheels. Also, the flats of the skyscrapers were also built on wheels so that he can move them around. This was an enormously expensive undertaking, obviously. It was built on the outskirts of Paris, on a tract of land that Tati thought would be safe for his set to be used later on, which I'll get to that in a second. It was dubbed Tativille, and Tati intended to bequeath this set after he was done with it to the French film industry, as for them to use however they wish, whether it was to be used for other sets, for other films, or to divvy them up and to turn them into a building complex for production offices. But that was not meant to be. The reason why is because the tract of land that Tati chose just happened to be earmarked by the Parisian government for a major highway project. And the Paris government was not about to give up that tract of land for a motion picture studio. So at the end of the shoot, shortly after, this entire set was raised and paved over, literally. So it's which is a shame because Tati was hoping to recoup some of his costs from this film by selling it to the French film industry. But again, it wasn't meant to be. Now, being shot in 70mm, every frame of this movie is practically a painting. Shooting it in long shot with extreme depth of field, with long takes. Tati intended for the viewer, for us, to watch this film and to just linger over every shot, as you would a painting. And the 70mm, as we're going to see today, is perfect for that. I mean, this movie, as I mentioned, was made for 70mm experience. Now, all of this, of course, came at an enormous cost to Tati. I mean, he built this city on his own bankroll, to quote a really bad song from the 80s. It took 3 years to make. This chaotic quest to build this city set ended up bankrupting him. He had to leverage everything, including all his previous films, including Mon Oncle and Monsieur Villot's Holiday. He owed a tremendous amount of money to his creditors and also to taxes. So he literally put everything on the line for this film. Now, just a quick word about the comedy. You know, Tati has often been compared to Buster Keaton, and I think that is a fair comparison. But there is a few striking, and because for one reason is because Tati, just like Keaton, enjoyed his gags to play out in long shot, so you can see the actual mechanics of how everything plays out. But one striking difference from Keaton is that Tati he didn't really want himself to be the center of attention. He didn't necessarily want to be the center of the gag. So in Playtime, it's very democratic in terms of the breakdown of who is being funny. So you'll see people who literally have no names. They're just waiter or passerby doing some funny business, and that's something that Keaton rarely did. He was often the center of the gags. This movie is virtually a silent film. It's not really driven by dialogue. There is some dialogue, which was provided by the American humorist Art Buchwald, but it's not really driven by that. But like most silent comedy, this movie is a joy to watch. So I want you to enjoy Playtime and just soak it in, just like Jacques Tati intended. So thank you very much.